Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes with our new intro, episode 286. Do looks matter in real estate? What do you reckon?
Oh my God, the looks matter in real estate. This is a really touchy
G'day,
one.
Jeff.
This is naughty.
Yeah, you can't judge a book by its cover, they say, but I think
But does a good cover help?
Yeah, does a book cover help? Alrighty, so what basically, we're not talking about our human appearances this morning. We're talking about fit outs of properties, businesses, how the look and the feel of the premises doesn't matter. Mark and I were having...
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, we were having lunch the other day. We won't specify the exact location because we are celebrities and people would know. Just kidding. We'll just sit down having lunch, and this restaurant recently had changed their fit out, and the premises they were at before, they were there for a long time, like 20 years. And Mark just looked at me and was like, before, like, the food is the same, but before, if we were to bring our family there for a Friday night dinner, they'd probably look at you going, really? Like, here, Friday night? Like, food,
in the old
great.
location, yeah.
Yeah, in the old location. But now it's like, yeah, I would bring family here and it would be really good. I think Facebook's playing up. Like, what stemmed it to you, Mark?
Yeah, like the crux of it was, like, we were sitting there and having good old chat about commercial and real estate and stuff, because that's what we chat about. And I looked around and said, mate, this guy was running for 20, 30 years in a really old shop, one of those institutional old, and you know, it wasn't busy, but it wasn't full. Anyway, he made a hero move. He made a king hit, like huge, and he went to a very sexy location and a very sexy very sexy location and a very sexy premises. So his rent, I guess, effectively tripled or quadrupled.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. So where they're pulling it apart, we're saying, like, what do you reckon? Because he's got an enormous amount of rent now to pay. Huge. He's fit out. He had to move his business. Do you think it paid? Same food, same guy, same operator. But the question was, do you think it's paid its way just because he's paying more rent and he's gone sexy? Is he making more money? More money.
And then we were like, and we're like, yeah, it has to help because of what we just felt. And then we're like, but some businesses can pull it off. I'm like, think of some old school barbers, think of those dingy bars where you're like, it's just outdated, but that is the appeal of it. But then Mark and I sort of paused and we're like, you know what? I reckon it's bullshit. I reckon we almost lie to ourselves and say it's okay, but we really don't think it. They've just got a great product or service or food which allows them to have this outdated shit fit out, but we just like the product, and we're like, we actually think not many can pull it off. And then it brings us back to, well, if they re-updated it, would they do much better? Have they just lied to themselves and given themselves this false security of it's okay to have this shaky shab, could you call it? Would that be the correct?
Don't spend money on your premises. Well, yeah. You know what? We can all go to a place that we love that hasn't done a fit out in a long time and go, see, fit out doesn't matter. But those places are bloody unicorns. They are like one in a million places. So you can't model yourself on the institutional business or the unicorn. A model that I love, and we are talking about, if you've just tuned in today, about the looks matter. A model that I love is, I'm not talking about model, a model is McDonald's. McDonald's is a sick brand that is constantly reinventing its premises, constantly reinventing its look and feel. It never, ever stops. It's never, ever a set and forget approach. They are always trying. Michael, you've got a lot of exposure to Domino's.
Yeah, and that's that whole thing as well. Every 5 to 7, I think it's every 5 years, it is new fit out, chuck out all the old, build all the new, not necessarily the products and the recipes changing, but just the look and the feel. And it just, customers love it. And I just feel if they're doing it, I understand on a smaller business scale, it's a lot harder. But when you see a business not do anything for 10 or 20 years, are they just getting away with it because they've built so much goodwill and people are like, it's okay. Johnny's a good bloke, but fuck, I really wish he redid his chairs or he painted the joint. Like, I think there's a fine line.
If you don't love yourself, how do you expect other people to love you, McDonald's?
Yeah.
If you don't love yourself, how do you expect other people to love you, Woolworths? Mr. Restaurant, if you do not love, polish, nurture, water the plant, how do you expect it to love you? It is impossible. You've got to put the effort in. And I've got to tell you, old mate, where we were having lunch, which is what would stem this conversation on, where we were having lunch, this guy hadn't spent 1 red cent on his business for 20 to 30 years. I mean, his fit out had not changed, not the paint, not the tables, not the chairs, not the carpet, not the lights. Even the television was a tube television that was sitting in there. There was 2 tube televisions on the wall. It was with VCRs. It was an old building. But what I'm amazed with a guy like that is how did he change, Michael?
Yeah.
What brought him to change?
Exactly. And if you finally get to that change, you probably think, should I have done it 10 years ago? Like, so there's a lot who never get there. And then when they do, you must think they think, well, I should have done that a while ago. And you made a good point when you brought up Coles, Woolies, and all the big guys are doing it. I think if they're all doing it, which it's really expensive to refit out a Coles or a Woolworths or a Domino's or a McDonald's, you may think they're onto something, like they have to do it. And regardless of being a small business, or like, you should be doing it in some sort of scale, because I know think of it when a new restaurant comes into town or someone renovates, there's always that new flush of inquiries, because we made the example of that barber who's trading off his good name and they've been there a long time, and people just go, yeah, but it's Johnny, he's great. But think of all the new people that come into that area who are looking and going, oh, it's just no, it does. Like, there's a new fancy barber shop with TV screens, a coffee shop there, new window, just all looks new and fresh compared to a 1970s one. Most people, I would assume, are choosing the new one. Same as a restaurant. You've got an old Thai restaurant that hasn't been refitted out in 30 years compared to a new one. Which one are you going to go to? Think of how, like, communities change. If you look at think of this way, the population of DY has grown by, I think it's 26,000, and it was like 19,000 5 years ago. So 7,000 new people, when they're deciding which restaurant to go to, I reckon 90% are going to choose the new looking one over the old looking one. Like, what would you choose if you didn't know? So I suppose if the population never changes and your community never changes, then yeah, they're probably going to pick you, but it's not the case. It's growing. So you're missing out on so many new clients. It's like a real estate agent built a great business up prospecting and marketing and then stops. Yes, he's going to have a certain amount of clients that will come to him, but you're not getting the new ones. And that's what the point is.
What about a good-looking real estate agent?
Yeah, well, there is this lady on LinkedIn. She sells land and she gets like 300-400 likes on a sold picture. I don't think I've ever had more than 10 likes on a sold picture. So looks do help. It was just her in front of a sold board with land behind it, 400 likes. Like, The grass ain't that good. Looks hell, but like you got to do what you can. So
we are concluding it is a
looks matter.
yes. It's a yes. So
And if you don't have the personal looks that you can stand out the front of an empty block of land and get all the eyeballs, then the thing behind you has to look good. The house, the business, your fit out. So
do you know what I honestly believe about looks? I believe genetically it's about 5 or 10%, and attitude is about 90 to 95%. And yes, I am talking about commercial property, and yes, I'm talking about people, because I reckon sex does sell you, right, Luke? But I reckon if you've got this attitude, like even if you went through school and you were like, not the most attractive, and you decided that you want to work harder on yourself, because for whatever reason, it may be vanity, it may be business, or whatever that is, but I reckon it's not impossible. I reckon people consistently think looks are like you're born with them or you're not, you're blessed with them or you're not. But look at you, Michael, with all the plastic surgery you've had. Michael used to be a redhead with freckles. And he decided he wanted to look like me, and he's known as Bionic Mark. And Michael had plastic surgery. What did you get done, Michael?
Allegedly everything, because I started real estate and I was like, who's the biggest, baddest, best? I need to be like them, look like them. So that's Mark's theory, similarity. And the only thing is I haven't got the height yet because we had to sacrifice someone so I could get their extra legs. I'm still
we're waiting for a tall person that wants to donate their legs.
But I will say, just on sex sells and emotion sells, what Luke was saying, I love that. I was talking to Mark about the vid Adam I did yesterday with the child. And that's the nail on the head of that emotion, because people are going to imagine their kids in the property and just that perspective. So I really like that video, especially the backyard when we're talking about the trampoline, Admel. When you're like, yeah, you can fit a trampoline. And she's like, maybe. I loved it. It was so good. And that's what people are going to relate to, that, the emotion. So it's hitting those triggers, the visual triggers, the emotion, the visual. I really like that. And I think you could be on something there with a bit of a segment, the child property views, because
it's pretty cute. It's pretty goddamn cute. And people, it's pulling to some amazing heartstrings that you don't see a lot on digital. So it's smart. It's smart. But tonight's a big night, Michael.
Yeah, we're choosing which car. Which car does everyone pick? I chose the Camaro. Mark chose the Charger. What do you reckon, Luke? What do you?
Everyone, choose your car. Choose a Camaro, a Charger, or Mustang. If you were to have any car, what car would you be out of those three? What car would you be driving?
You chose the Charger.
While you're choosing, I'm choosing the Charger because there's the orange bum. But tonight we've got a community event. Tonight we've got at 6:00 tonight. We have the how to kill it on social. We are teaching people Mustang. Yes. We are teaching people how to.
I got it. Hang on a sec.
In their business or themselves, or use it, or use camera equipment, whatever it is related to social. So tonight, the money's going to the Northern Beaches Women's Hospital. There it is. There, thanks, Mike. Very efficient. It's going.
Yeah. That's what we're teaching you tonight.
It's going.
That was not.
All funds are going to the Northern Beaches Women's Shelter. We are going to teach people how to be a ninja in 45 minutes. It's 15 minutes of Lisa Novak. It's 15 minutes of Lisa Glynn doing branding and things like that. And it's 15 minutes of Mark Novak. It's also talking to our team. And it's also a Q&A session at the end. So tickets are $29. We are sold out. But if it's a special request, send it across to Gail from our office, whose email is also, I think you can, if you find it on social, you'll see her email there. And yeah, happy to see if we can squeeze you in, but it is sold out. And people are doing, you know what? There's a couple of offices and businesses that are doing dinners while they're watching this in their offices, and they've worked out that it's $29 for the whole group. So it's not a lot of money, and it's a great concept.
Yeah, and we'll be there. I'll be there.
BURGIO?
What was that?
What was that?
I just love playing around with all the screens and changing shit. It's so good.
Just go back to here.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap. Anything else you want to add on to that?
That's it. Have a great day, everyone.
When do we get the Zoom link? Yeah, we're Zooming tonight, Mark.
Yeah, the link. It's in the discussion. If you're on there, it's in the discussion. There's a private discussion is going on in the group. We put the link in there, and also let us, if you can't find it there, just SMS us or messenger us through that event, and we can give it to you again. So that's where it's appearing.
Yeah, if you can't find it, feel free to contact me, because if Lisa and Mark are talking, I'll be there stalkering. So just text me if you need it. But yeah, that'll be good. You've
become a bit of a pro without realizing, Michael, on the Zooming and StreamYarding and all that stuff.
Yeah, guest speaker.
Running the battleship.
If everyone donates an extra $10 to the charity, I'll speak.
You're in.
Alrighty, guys. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 7:45. Thank you.
Love you, everyone. See you. Bye.
Cheers.